Welcome to Open Arms, an honest conversation about firearms. Hey everyone, I'm your host Brian Lockerman, and today's episode is brought to you by Open Arms, an MB Studio production show. Today I am with Briana Céspedes. Hello, Briana.
Hi, nice to see you.
Well, thank you for coming aboard. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So if you're curious about that name, Céspedes, it's actually a Cuban name. So I'm Cuban Mexican, born in California, California native. Grew up kind of in the Rancheros area,
Oh,
so
nice.
that's where I'm from. But about me, I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran. I joined the military when I was 18, almost 19.
Wow.
And I was in the military for 5 years.
Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, my pleasure. I was able to go to New Jersey, Korea, and also to Belgium at the NATO base
Oh,
there.
wow.
So that's
mean,
my experience.
That's the beauty about being in the service. You get to go travel and see the world, basically.
If you get lucky.
Yeah.
You got to get the slots.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I was blessed in that way. And my job, actually, my favorite part about my job was I was a radio host.
Oh, really?
So if you know the movie Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was me essentially doing that in Korea. My name was DJ Cubanita.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
A lot of fun.
Oh, that's
So,
very, very cool.
Yeah.
Now, what else did you do in the Air Force? Did you do anything with the airplanes and stuff like that?
No, I mean, my job was journalism. So
Oh, yeah?
videography, I would go into the planes, for example, the jets, cargo planes, and cover what was happening.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't fly
No.
anything. Yeah, most people are like, oh, did you fly? What movie was that? Top Gun.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but he's in the Navy. He's not even in the
That
Air
is
Force,
true.
so.
That's true. Yeah, my father was in the Air Force, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was a radio man too, as well.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
he never got to fly. He didn't get to fly because of his eyesight.
Okay.
He always wanted to, but his eyesight kept him grounded.
Yeah. I honestly, though, I really loved my job, specifically in the Air Force. And actually, I was planning to do the 6 years. But the reason I got out at 5 was because of the COVID-19 vaccine situation, all of that. So that started back 2020, right?
Oh,
And in the military, I just got to say, like, it was another level. For civilians, there's still a bit of freedom, but right, we give over. When we wear the uniform, there's a certain amount of control. And I'm telling you, my experience was it was crazy. Honestly, I was quarantined over 140 days in isolation in the barracks over those 2.5 years. And I went through the religious exemption process, and I was asking to essentially not take the vaccine, right?
Of course.
And then, of course, I mean, most of us were denied, but I was one of those that actually got kicked out of the Air Force.
See, I don't like hearing that. You're serving your country, and because of your choice, you get kicked out of the service.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Believe it or not, I have a similar situation with me. I have a disease called polycystic kidneys, and I need a transplant. So I've been on dialysis for the last year and a half, and I have 3 living donors ready to give me a kidney. It was supposed to be done at Cedars-Sinai. Had all the paperwork done, all the tests done, and the last thing I said, you need to get these 15 vaccines, one of them being the COVID. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I got a religious exemption too as well, and it's absolutely not. They said, well, sorry, we're not going to give you your surgery. I told them, I said, so you'd rather me not get a life-saving surgery and let me leave because I'm not taking the vaccines? They said, yeah, we don't care. Take the vaccines or you're out. And I had to go to a different hospital.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. I believe we need to have a choice. Like the Second Amendment. It's there to give a choice.
Yeah.
You know, we are a free country.
And the principle also of experimenting, for example, on our service members, I speak as a service member, that was already done within the Nuremberg Code. So we were already legally not supposed to be in that situation. So it was interesting to see everything that happened on the inside, and then to be now on the outside, but with less than an honorable discharge. I have a general discharge. Just things like that. It's
so
crazy.
sorry to hear that you had to go through something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Did they now since change that?
So they have rescinded in the new NDAA. They rescinded it.
Okay.
Biden signed on that as well because the senators were pushing it.
Yeah.
They also have stopped all of the mandates in all 6 branches as well.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
could rejoin the military, for example. But the people that have kind of gotten forgotten are people like me who got kicked out. So I know quite a few
Yeah.
peers of
Yeah.
mine that we experienced this, and then there's kind of nothing that has happened. So that's a little bit difficult for us who kind of got the worst of it, and then like, okay, what's happening for us? But I know that they're working on legal cases to get us some sort of retribution or
I hope
something.
so. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah,
Um,
so
yeah.
it's just interesting to see what happens when defending the Constitution. That's
Yeah.
one of the things. That's actually the biggest motivation for me joining the military.
Exactly.
I wanted to be in that body, and we have to protect from enemies, foreign and domestic as well,
That's
which
correct.
is interesting.
That's
So
correct.
we have to. I mean, freedom is never something we can take for granted. Always fight for our freedom. I think Thomas Jefferson said something. I can't quote him exactly, but
Yeah, no, you're right about
yeah.
that. You're spot on about that. It's fantastic.
yeah.
So, being in the military, did you get a lot of like firearm training?
To be honest, in the Air Force, I shot 1 time in boot camp,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2 more times. No, I would say 3 more times because I was in 2 other competitions. I was in a German Armed Forces test, actually,
Oh,
that I
wow.
voluntarily I wanted to have fun and participate in. And essentially, we did what the Germans do in order to get to pass their boot camp and through their testing.
Oh,
It
very
was
good.
actually really fun, but it was way harder than the Air Force's,
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way. But yeah, it was really fun. I got to shoot the 9mm there.
Oh,
We
nice.
were trained on the M9s in the Air Force, but not too much, to be honest. I
No.
shot more before and now after the military than I did in the military.
Gotcha. So, as a civilian, you're still doing some shooting?
Yeah, I just bought myself 2 guns, actually
Oh,
handguns, the
very nice.
9mm Beretta.
Oh, yeah.
XD 40 cal as well. I'm super excited.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, I'm a gun owner now. Because I grew up like always shooting my dad's gun or my cousin's gun or something. So, yeah, I'm really excited now to be a gun owner myself.
Very nice. Have you gotten any safety classes for shooting?
Well, to be honest, I grew up with my dad and my
Mhm.
cousins. They had already it's been a culture in my family
There you go.
to teach it. It's kind of like the Europeans do with alcohol. Like they normalize their children to alcohol early on,
Mm-hmm.
and so that way it's not a huge deal, and they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
misuse it or abuse it later on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the way I grew up with guns. It was just something where it's normal, and it's something to be cautious of, to respect, but
Absolutely.
it doesn't have to be something I don't understand.
Yeah, and that's where I grew up too. We grew up like that. My father, my grandfather, my uncles taught me the safety, to shooting a gun, to owning a gun, to storing a gun, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And it kept us safe, and it was very enjoyable.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
they can be really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is fun.
We actually have used them practically for some coyotes in the back.
Really?
They come and they eat our dogs.
Oh, no way.
So we hunt them.
What do you use for
So,
that?
We usually use the shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much easier to actually capture something. So
Oh, very cool. Very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I'd like to have you come out to our range at one point and maybe give you a little bit of more safety classes up
Yeah.
there and do some firing. It'd be great to bring your new guns out there and
yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
where's the range actually?
we're in Moore Park.
Okay,
So yeah, so it's very very close to where you are,
nice.
and it'd be fun to come up there.
Yeah, actually, I'm down.
Yeah,
I'd love to.
sounds good. So other than your military training, did you ever do any hunting or anything like that?
One time I went with my dad in Arizona. We went boar hunting.
Did you really?
Yeah, that
Oh my
was
God.
that was an experience. So I
That's so
tortured this
funny.
boar.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not actually that good of a shot. Even though I've been around guns, I'm not that good of a shot. We ended up going out there, and it was like this huge open land, but it's
Uh-huh.
a park with wild animals inside. They had bulls, they had boar, they had bison as well.
Oh.
So some guys went out to shoot the bison, and then you can actually skin the bison and take it home and eat that meat.
Really? Huh.
So we went and got a boar. Well, we actually shot 3, but it took me over 6 times to get this boar dead. The one I went for,
Oh yeah.
I
Did he come
tortured
out? Did he
it.
come out to you at all?
It came after me on the last
Did
shot
it really?
because I was with the guide, right? And I ended up using the handgun because I was so close. He was so injured at this point because I had
Uh-huh.
shot him in the back, the leg, the ear, really bad. I felt really
Yeah.
bad. And so I have the handgun and I go up and I miss him unbelievably. So I miss him, and the guide ends up grabbing the handgun because the boar starts to charge at us
Oh my God.
till it's like it's
See?
dying, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it charges, and I'm like, ah, and then the guy just shoots it in the head and it dies. But
Oh my God. It's so funny you brought that up because I haven't hunted in a long time. And that's one of the things I want to do. I want to hunt boar with my crossbow. I was just
oh,
talking to a hunter guy who was our guest on the show, and I was talking about that because I really feel the challenge behind that.
oh yeah.
Because if you wing him, he's coming after you. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
yes. It was actually quite a situation where you're like, wow, what was it like before when you had to depend on this as your meal?
Exactly.
It really puts a
Exactly.
different respect. When you hunt, I actually think hunters value animals' lives much more
Oh yeah.
than people that just are vegetarians even,
Yeah.
because there's a sense of respect of like, wow, hey, look at what it took. We're not gonna be just taking, but it's a
Hmm.
matter of like that kind of that circle of life thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
I mean, I grew up in the East Coast, and we hunted for our food basically,
yeah.
and that's what we did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We anything that we went hunted for, we ate.
Huh.
We had it prepared. My mom, my grandmother, whoever. We would never would let anything go to waste like that. We were not a trophy hunter type of people.
Mm-hmm.
We did it for food.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's great.
yeah, it was. I enjoyed it, growing up like that. Now I haven't really since then, since I came out to California and stuff like that, really did any more hunting, and I didn't even know where there was even hunting around here, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
either.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm still just I'm all about shooting sports and stuff like that, and and the thing about shooting, and I think this is what you're from too, is a family that gets together and does things together, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
And see, that's the way I grew up too. And that's what I think. I think family values are so important, and it's something that you can do with your family
Hmm.
and have a good time with them.
Yeah, I mean, the memory that I have with my dad hunting with him, he actually just passed away
Oh, I'm
in
sorry.
November. But that memory is just it's something
Yeah.
that we got to do together. And as
Right.
his daughter, there's 5 of us girls,
Oh wow.
and I'm the middle one. And I always felt like the closest to him, just kind of like his son without being his
Yeah.
son.
Yeah.
And it's just such a unity, and it just
Right.
happens with those circumstances where you're like, oh, like you gotta move together. You just have fun.
Exactly.
So, and then he embarrassed himself because he shot him the back of
Oh no.
the recoil on it was too hard.
Oh
So
man.
yeah.
Yeah, I love the memories of my father. He passed away as well, but I mean, just what I did with him growing up as a boy. It's
Mhm.
you can't replace that.
Yeah.
You can't buy that.
Mhm.
You know, that's just something I feel very blessed having.
Yeah.
You know,
Me
so
too.
yeah, that's great. Well, that sounds great. I mean, I really do appreciate your service in the Air Force. I mean, I'm sorry to hear your situation about why you had to leave early. I don't like hearing that. It really does. It kind of bugs me. But other than that, though, I mean, look at you. You got it put together. You know.
Not really, but on this show maybe it looks
Uh,
like it.
you seem like you're doing just fine. Well, let's actually do that. Let's get you out to our range. Let's have some fun. Right now, the range is underwater.
Oh, okay.
With this rain we're having,
Yeah.
we're in a valley, and it's just we have like 2 feet of standing water right now.
Wow.
Until this is gone, we're gonna dress it all up again. We'll get you up there, have some fun, bring you back on the show, talk to you about your experience with us,
Cool.
doing some safety training with you,
Yeah.
and having a day of fun.
Nice.
What do you think?
Oh yeah,
Good?
that sounds
All
great.
right. Well,
That's
thank you
awesome.
again for being on the show. It was a pleasure. And until next time, okay?
Yeah, and I did want to say one
Sure,
thing.
absolutely.
I did actually write about my story. If anyone is interested, I wrote like a small article on it. So I know that will be in the description. So if you guys want to read it, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Cool.
Well, okay. Thank you very much, Brianna. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, that's our show. And remember, if you want to be a guest on the show, contact us. And it doesn't matter your opinion, we'll have you on. And always remember safety, family, and the Second Amendment.